Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe, and you're checking out Weekend at Gabe's, and thanks for checking out this latest episode. While you're here, also follow us on these social medias at Weekend Gabe, at Weekend at Gabe's, and also at The Real Sam Crane. Thanks for checking us out.
All right, so let's reset for a second. I'm Weekend Gabe. The real Sam Crane is to my right, and you are watching Weekend at Gabe's with Weekend Gabe. Don't forget to give us a follow on these social medias. Weekend Gabe at Weekend at Gabe's, and also at the real Sam Crane. Also, put us into your life. Subscribe to the show on YouTube. We have all this great original content. It's amazing. You want to be part of it. Tell a friend. Share, support, and show love. That's what we're all about on this show. So we are showing love tonight behind the master team, behind the new record titled Happy Medium, Gyroscopes, Montana Macks, Colossal Structures. They are all joining us. We're going to bring everyone in right now to have a great conversation about the making of this record, where I think we just dropped Colossal, so hopefully he'll come back in just a second. But let's move some windows around and see if we can get this thing going. I think that's where we are. There he is. I think that's him. He's in the black void.
Working on it.
Right. Rob, you there?
We got you. We can hear you. We can't see you.
You coming out the darkness.
It's all good. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on the show tonight. We appreciate your time.
Appreciate being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us.
Absolutely. So hopefully Colossal, we'll get it figured out, but we'll leave him up. But the record is a fantastic Happy Medium. You guys just dropped it late last week. So it's very fresh, it's very new, it's very on time. It's a lot of soul behind it. It's a working class kind of record, really sort of digesting what it is to be a 30-something in hip hop, sort of juggling the responsibilities of adulthood. It's a very real record. Let's go into the Gyroscope. Like, what was that the aim when you went into hearing some of Montana's records, or did you kind of like already know what you were going to do before you even hooked up with the production side?
Well, the way it started, I want to say that Colossal, he had some beats that Montana Macks had sent him a while ago, and he had, we always kind of just digging away, seeing like what's the next move that we want to make. And then he had forwarded to me, and he was just like, "Yo, IB, check this out." And so when we listened to it, he was like, "Yo, these are the two joints that I really like, which happened to be War Going On and Take It Easy." And pretty much he wrote down the chorus for War Going On to kind of spark it off. And so it kind of just started just from that individual song. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, we wrote Take It Easy. And then we hit up Montana Macks. He was like, "Yo, we want you to check out these joints." So we came through. We have recorded it. And then that's when Montana Macks was like, "Yo, I like what we got. Want to hear some more beats?" And we was like, "For sure." And so he played some more beats. And we heard some more interesting tracks. And we was like, "Yo, we might can make an EP out of this." But I'll pass it to Colossal if you want to add on to that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, exactly what I said. I know when I think he either played the.
I'm gonna keep it going. So, let me pass it to Montana Macks. What was your viewpoint around that time?
Yeah, I mean, for me, every project starts as a song. So,
he's not with us. But go ahead.
Okay. I would say that every project starts as a song, and when they, I send them a beat, they come back with something. I'm like, this is special. Like, let's pull this out and see what it can be. All due respect to people I've tried to collaborate in the past, I've sent them something, they send it back to me. It's not that special. Like. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to go much further than this. You know what I mean? So,
Yo, I can't win, man. What's going on?
You were me on Tuesday night.
It hurts so bad. It's painful. It's painful.
But go ahead, Colossal. You were in the middle of a thought of we're working on the album.
So yeah, I think when he sent the beat to work. I forget what he named it. He had a really, really weird name for it because most producers have really strange names for that. But when I played it, it gave off such a like jarring, eerie, like eeriness to it, and I was like, oh, like it literally sent chills down my spine, man. And I'm like, yo, like this, we have to really touch on something very, very real and something painful on this, something that we're going through every day.
Right.
So yeah, no, he just had some beats for us that honestly really spoke to us, man. Like we needed them at the time.
So Montana, like I was reading that like your favorite record of all time is Common's Resurrection. So you and I and it's so funny because I kind of feel like although it's not a nostalgic look back, but it's a bit of an old. It kind of feels like Common when he was with No ID and also Doug Infinite. And you guys kind of have this similar vibe of that 94, 95, and just bouncing and vibing off each other. And obviously the production, although not similar, but it has that boom bap feel to it as well. Did you guys kind of like? I know obviously you being a hip hop fan, like did you kind of feel like when you were listening to the playback, like you're like, yo, this kind of has like a similar vibe to what I always enjoyed?
So I mean, I knew it was gonna work because if I like something, I like it because it feels like home to me. You know, so Resurrection, like I feel like home when I listen to that record. I also feel like something that I didn't see coming when we did finally do a playback was there was a lot of influence, definitely, at least on my end, because I can only speak for myself, of like Nacrobats and All Natural. Like,
shout out Nacrobats one time.
And I didn't realize that we were kind of creating a similar sound, but it in many ways, like I'd be remiss if I didn't like give them their props, because unintentionally, I think we really, filled up that lane.
Absolutely. So with the record itself, like we're talking like about like sort of this middle class feel to it, and you guys obviously are down like very humble MCs, but like talk about like sort of that like with work, right? Talk about getting up, the alarm clock, the grind. You know, it's like what is like is that does that really capture sort of your day to day of like really trying to piece together a career, but also remaining responsible to other things?
I would definitely say that every word on this project is a Photoshop of like our lives, and it's all wrapped in 15 minutes, and that's why we appreciate it so much because it's real personal, man. You know, it's real personal. Like when I talk about like 6 o'clock in the morning reaching the press news, like that was like those dreadful moments. Like, man, I gotta get up, I gotta hustle, but because I mean, when you was kind of asking the first question, man, like this project was really organic, and I think special projects happen that way. So it's like, Montana Macks didn't send us the beat saying like, hey, let's make this concept, or we didn't come back to Montana Macks and say, hey, we got this concept. It was really like, it started literally with War Going On and Take It Easy, and those was both ends of the spectrum. So by them being both ends of the spectrum, when we got more beats, we started to kind of like organically fill in the in between and being like, okay, well, how do we reach this end to this end? Yeah. And so that's kind of like what a concept of happy medium came up, where it was just like, okay, we're starting off from a dark place, you know what I'm saying? And I think we've all kind of had those dark clouds, right? Where we like, it's like it's real stressful, you know what I'm saying? And you got self-doubt and all of those different things like that. But work was really like, okay, you can't really complain about this every day because you still got a family, you still got to work, you still got to make things happen. And so you got to wake up and get busy. And so it's like, it was kind of this like narration of like going into autopilot where you're working. And now it's just like, it's an everyday thing and you get lost into it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like how it streamlined organically and what made it really special in the element of what you're talking about.
Absolutely. There's a lot of like just trying to get by, just trying to make it move, get to the next to the next thing so you can get to the next thing to get to the next thing. Like, talk about like sort of being an independent artist and how either rewarding or frustrating that can be, you know, because I'll go ahead, Colosso.
Oh no, I ain't.
Come on.
My connection is just.
He
so
said go ahead, speak on that.
About artists and still and balancing what.
Yeah, just sort of like the reward. Yeah.
Uh-oh. It's not good.
Man, that Wi-Fi.
Friends for over 20 years, but have been rocking together. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
got you. We got you.
Am I
Hear you now.
Yeah. Keep going. So we got you.
Been rocking together for over 22, since like 2006. So I mean, literally, we have grinded. We have done from open mics to throwing on shows to being thrown on shows to having 0 people in the room to having 50 to having closer to 500, and it's just honestly, we've seen more great response from this record than we ever have in our lives from anything we've ever put out.
Wow.
And I gotta say, man, like the work really has brought for us this time, and it honestly, like nothing feels greater than that right now for me. I hope y'all got that because my internet.
No, we got it. That was clear.
Got that.
Okay.
What about you, Montana? Like working with these guys, did it feel like this was like obviously you would say like it's a rewarding experience, but to hear them say like the feedback they're getting and you having sort of a hand in crafting and getting them that win, like what is it like for you as a producer who's overseeing the project? Because I know those feel good when that happens.
I mean, it feels so good. I've known these guys, whether you guys realize it or not. I've known them for both over 10 years, and
Whoa.
All right. So look, I actually couldn't even hear him, but what I'm gonna add on to that with Montana Macks, because when you asked that question, Montana Macks really, and I'm gonna open this up for you, Montana Macks, because this is something that I was thinking about. But Montana Macks was actually there in the beginning as well. But at that time, you know, he was like the brother, he was like the fan. You know what I'm saying? He was the one that came to all our shows, always supported us, and then like out of nowhere, this dude became like an epic producer. You know what I mean? So like literally for it to come full circle, for us all to come together when we was kind of all in those humble beginnings, that's what makes this even more special. And then I'm gonna give you the alley hoop, Montana Macks, but that's real.
Yeah, I mean, I've known these guys for forever. I've always thought they were talented, and I mean, it never made sense why we never made music together, but it never felt pressing, you know. And the stars really aligned because they were looking to get into a new project. I had actually recently scrapped a project that I basically completed in its entirety, and then I had a falling out with my co-collaborators, and so I was in a tight spot, and I was like, man, like, let's do this. I have now all of a sudden, instead of pushing this project I worked on, I have all this free time. Like, if we're gonna do it, let's do it now. And like we talk about in the project, we just keep getting older, so let's try to make something impactful. And I think for the first time in our friendships, at least for me, it felt pressing. Like it felt much more urgent to get something out there, and I couldn't be happier with what we were able to come up with. Honestly, it ended up more cohesive than I thought it was going to end up being, and I think these guys are, you know, deserve all the credit in the world for bridging those gaps, like you were talking about earlier, Dominic, from these polar opposite tracks and pulling it together as a project.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because my question was sort of, how do you, because you talked about the traction that you got from this record is sort of different than the traction that you've gotten before. How do you relate to not just your generation, but the generation that's coming next? in this next record? Is that on your mind when you're creating, or is it we're creating for ourselves?
I'm gonna be honest with you, and
Well,
this
the
this
funny
is not
thing
to
is,
be. Oh, go
me
ahead.
and this man IB are in the crew Tomorrow Kings. So the ideology behind Tomorrow Kings is like we're doing this for the kids of tomorrow, the guys who are coming after us. So literally, honestly, I think everything we do, who will hear this and be inspired by this, and will try to be, we'll take this and use this as a guide to do something even better in the future. So definitely.
Yeah.
And to add to that, which I thought is actually perfect, in him saying Tomorrow Kings, like what I was gonna say was, this is not to be cocky but confident, that I always felt we was ahead of our time. And if you go through our track record, and just what we've put out earlier, what I'm saying, I always felt like we was ahead of the curve. And sometimes we were so ahead of the curve that it felt like people weren't ready for it, but we just always delivered when it was time to perform it live. And people didn't even know what they were hearing, but they was just like, yo, this is different. You know what I'm saying? And so with that mindset of doing it for, the cats that's behind us and coming tomorrow, we kind of set that field. You know what I mean? We always have been forward thinking. We've always been trying to push the envelope, and we've never really were the ones to gauge ourselves on the current trend. Like, okay, this is what's popping, so that's how we're going to attack it. We always wanted to just go left. Like, if everybody went right, we wanted to go left.
Right.
And even right now, it's like even with the simplicity of Happy Medium, I felt like a lot of people were elsewhere, but the honesty of being authentic as a modern man today wasn't really being spoken about at this moment in time. You know what I mean? So even in that route, I think that, we're kind of sparking that, we're planting that seed that I think a lot of others will be like, oh man, I could speak about being with my family. I could speak about, what I'm saying, walking home from the store, walking home from my job and, missing the bus or whatever like that. Like, it doesn't have to be this grand picture of like trying to create this grand scheme that everybody can see, but you can literally bring them into your living room and connect, because guess what? We all go through it. You know what I'm saying? We all, like, no matter what lane it is, we all trying to find a happy medium.
Do you guys obviously, do you guys feel like, this feels, when people talk about like adult hip hop, contemporary hip hop, do you guys feel like you're filling a void that needs to be filled because either, artists who are in our sort of age bracket at 30 plus, they're still trying to project what they were doing 15 years ago or 10 years ago when they were younger and probably a lot hungrier, but like, obviously it's real. It's not like hip hop used to kind of be like this wrestling type thing. Like, you didn't know if LL Cool J had kids because we didn't have the access, but now we have access to everyone. So like us, like hearing you guys talk about dropping your kids off at daycare, like these are things that can relate to people like myself, maybe not so much to Sam, but to me. And, and I think that it's important to have these records that are out there because it's something that we can relate to, even though if I'm not an artist, but I have this passion with this show, but I also have some similarities into what you guys are doing. So talk about like how important it is to have these kind of records out there so that an older audience doesn't have to feel like the dinosaurs, at the family reunion, like that new stuff is like, and I always hate these conversations because there's records out there for everyone, but we just have to do a little bit harder job of searching and finding it. But I think it's important that you get what you guys are doing and what you're offering. What is your guys' thought on that?
Anybody want to take that?
It's not really like a question. It's just sort of a feel of like you guys filling the void,
So,
I mean, I appreciate you saying
like I heard most
of
talking
because that. Well, I was just gonna say I appreciate you saying that because that lets me know that we hit the target. You know what I mean? As far as connecting, because it is about the modern day man. No matter what you do, It doesn't matter about if you MC or if you do radio or whether you produce or whether you got your own business. Like, I thought that was important, and I'm happy that you said that, because I think it is important. It is important for us to connect and not feel like it's just the young man's game. You know what I mean? Like, you know how you've heard that in the past years, like it's the young man's game, and you know, if you older, you gotta kind of like already paid your dues to be like a Jay-Z, to do like a 444. You know what I'm saying? And I think that bridging that gap is very important, where, you know, music is universal language, man, and hip hop shouldn't be in a box where you know, like you think about blues, you think about country, they don't retire. Like, it's not like a moment where it's like, oh, well, Johnny Cash is now 40, so now we can't listen to him. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's like, so it's important that like hip hop should have that as well. We should have it to where it can age like fine wine, and you can speak to multiple generations. Like, I think that's important. But I'll pass it to them as well if they want to speak on that.
I mean, for me,
yeah,
I mean,
look at
Rob, if you want to go, take it.
no, go ahead, Max. I jump in. I can't tell what's going on, but you can go ahead. You know.
No, I was just gonna say, like, nowadays everybody talks about this, that, and the third. Like, you have to have like a side hustle. You got to like be grinding all the fucking time, all this shit. I think it's all bullshit. I think that like, like you should just be doing, like, it's art, man. You're never too old to make art, and as long as it's authentic, it's good, right?
Right.
So I think that like what these two guys did on these records, I think it resonates with people no matter what their age is, because the beats are dope, and also because they're so authentic. Like, nothing feels forced. Everything is relatable. Like, even like I played it for the people that I work with. You know, I manage a lot of people that are much younger than me, and they fuck with the record not just because I'm their boss. Like I put out a record, just another music video yesterday. People at the office were sending it around in like an email thread, like, oh shit, this is dope. I'm like, and they're 22, 23 years old. Like, if it's good, if it comes from the right place, it has the right vibe, people will fuck with it no matter what. So yeah, I'm a strong believer in, like, as long as it's authentic, as long as it's dope, you don't really have to target anybody. It'll find its place and where it fits in, you know?
I think that the production choices are also just like pure ear candy, like Frozen in Time, that soulful jazz, you know, and then adding in the scratches, you know, it's just like, you know, it's like the scrunch face, you just know it, and then with the fellas jumping in and, you know, adding their story, you know, like it just felt right, you know, like, and when you guys were recording over the tracks, did you guys just kind of feel like, man, this just feels like perfect to what we need right now?
Well, it's funny that you said Frozen in Time, because we spoke about this a little bit, that Frozen in Time was actually the last track that we wrote to. And it was like literally like on the cusp of the pandemic, when all the other joints was like written before the pandemic. And so before Frozen in Time, me and Colossal was like, yo, the project is done. This is the story. We rolling with it. So just imagine Happy Medium without Frozen in Time. So that's what we were at that time. And so you know, Montana Macks, he was like, yo, I think the project sounds good, but I think this need one more. We was being a little stubborn, like, no, it don't need no more. It's good. It's good. so he sent us the Frozen in Time track. And I remember it like yesterday. I got the fam in the van. We driving. We about to go to like this like family get together. And then Rob's like, yo, check the email real quick. So I play the beat, and I'm playing the beat like maybe a block away, and I'm listening to the beat. I'm hearing those horns, and at this time, the horns was like blaring. They was like blaring before we like start mixing it. So I'm going crazy on this. I'm like, yo, I told my wife, I said, get the children, bring them in. I'll be there in a minute. So I just started like, I'm in the car just like vibing to it. And then I hit up Rob, and I'm like, I think we might have one here. He was like, I'm already writing to it. And I was just like, I bet I'm about to write to it when I get home. So it's funny that became the first single and also the missing link to kind of completing Happy Medium.
Yeah. Go ahead, Colosso. We'll wait for you.
Oh yeah, no, that particular beat, again, like chills down my spine. I heard those horns and I'm like, let me hear I beat right now. You got to hear this at this instant. I would have probably ran to Max's house just to fight him, but just be like, yo, these 4 songs are it. We don't need anything else. And he was like, please trust me. And I'm glad that we trusted him. And he sent us that beat. It was beautiful, man. I love that album, man. That was a favorite of mine.
I think it's so funny that you guys would have been satisfied with 4 Montana Macks beats, and he's like giving you them. It's like he's almost like shoving them at you, and you're like, nah, I don't know. And to me, it's just like it's mind blowing because I would be like, give me everything you got, and I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really funny process. I mean, and you have to imagine 4 tracks is like it's so short. It's only the project itself is only what 17 minutes.
Yeah,
15 minutes.
15, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, imagine it any shorter, and it would have been like, yeah, rough. and they're telling me back right at the same time. They're like, dude, like I don't even need to hear the beat. Like, don't even send the beat. Like, they're good. I'm like, no, because they think I'm just trying to sell them on making something longer that's maybe not inspired or something, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad they felt it. That's all. What can you say? You know.
What I'm laughing at also is because Sam and I were talking to a younger artist on Tuesday who like clears out 3-4 records every time he goes in the studio, and you guys are like fighting over 4 or 5 records, and there's kids out there just pumping out records every day, and it's like no, we just need these 4. That's it.
Quality over quantity. But I had one last question here, and this is for all 3 of you. So we'll wait for Colossal to maybe get us kicked off here. But the album is called Happy Medium. A lot of people need certain things to get to their happy medium. I know for me, when I wake up for work in the morning, it's coffee, it's water. What do y'all need to get to your happy medium individually?
Man, you know, I would say for me, you know,
First,
my family feels me. My family feels me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, waking up, seeing my wife, you know, my children, showing me love, you know, and them just being inspired. Like, man, like they know the record, man. Like they know the record word for word. Like I be seeing them spitting it. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's inspiring, man. Like my family is everything. They really pump me to really get it going. You know what I mean? Because I think if I didn't have a family, if I wasn't married, bro, I'd be wilding out in these streets, and that's not good. So I'm grounded.
Fair enough.
For me, man, that's a funny. For me, definitely, obviously, wife, kids, for sure. To be able to create. Like to have that time set aside, create, whether it's with IB or just period writing, listen to a beat. That for me, man.
Right.
Nothing else. Super.
Hell yeah.
What about you, Montana? What's your happy medium?
My happy medium is very difficult to find records, and making sure my wife isn't upset with me spending too much money on whiskey.
What's the whiskey of choice, Montana Macks?
Well, tonight we're drinking Remus Repeal Reserve. It's the annual of George Remus's brand. It's very good. High rye.
All right.
But I'm a very serious whiskey nerd, and it is very difficult to stop spending money on whiskey.
I thought you were like leading into like I spent too much money on records.
No. You're gonna ask Rob. It's like records isn't his problem. No, the delicious brown water.
I think
Whiskey.
you know I
Whiskey.
gotta add to that one that I think especially for me and Rob, the process of creating, recording, writing, getting the package back and looking at your product, that's all great. But like a major happy medium for me and him, and I think I could speak for us both, is like getting on stage and performing. Like that's everything. You know what I mean? Like that's Super Saiyan mode. Like I'm floating in the sky, like when I'm when I'm on stage. So just to have those moments, like that makes me feel alive when I'm on stage.
Hell yeah.
Well, that's a great setup to our last question of the night. Are you guys looking to return to the stage, or are you guys going to kind of see how things play out with our? Oh yes, Montana Macks is giving the thumbs up. So, what's it looking like? August, September, November. When do we think we can see you guys?
Well, as far as like for like an album release party, we're definitely planning on doing that. We don't have a tentative date yet, but it's gonna be soon. You know what I'm saying?
I hope we get invites for this.
Oh yeah, you guys.
Yes, you will. Yes,
right.
you will. You will have to be there. But as soon as we get a tentative date, we'll let you know. But we are going to be performing at Rec Shop with Add 2 and Def C at Van's Rec Shop on August 11th.
Amazing.
Shout out Van. Shout out House of Vans. 1062.
Up. You're. Hang on. There you go.
Remix.
There you go. Hang on. There you go.
Back. I'm back.
He's back.
Let's go. I'm back.
All right, cool. Well, we'll definitely keep us in the loop of when you guys anything additional that you guys. I don't know. The windows are all messed up now, but anyways, we'll definitely keep us posted. The new record, Happy Medium. It's available on your Bandcamp right now. Do you think it'll end up on the digital streaming platform sometime later on?
Yes. At some point.
All right.
we gotta deliver some physicals first.
Word.
I know.
Word.
I understand the motivation. I'm just asking later on, because I definitely want to. Once you guys get your merch up and let me know if you guys are going to sell anything, I love the support. So.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Will do.
No doubt.
Absolutely. Our guests tonight are the group Gyroscope with IB Focus and Colossal Structures and super producer Montana Macks. I'm just going to call you super producer because that's what I want to do. Even if you may not feel that way, it is what it is.
I love you.
Happy Medium's the new album. It's out there on their Bandcamp. We'll share the link on our social medias at Weekend Gabe and at Weekend at Gabe's so you guys can support and put that into your lives, and it'll improve your outlook by at least 20%. I promise you that.
That's just science, America.
Exactly.
Peace. Thank you, man.
Enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having us, man.
Absolutely.
Peace
You're
and love.
checking out Weekend at Gabe's with Weekend Gabe and the real Sam Crane, and we just talked with the group Gyroscope. Happy Medium. It's a fantastic record. I really enjoy it. It's just like an adult record. It feels like something. It's obviously it's relatable to me, but I'm happy that there's adult records out there that feel comfortable to listen to. That
I want to emphasize that because comfortable to listen to is the word. I would say, it's not boom bap as much as it is jazz fusion almost. And I really love that about the record. So it's an easy listen, like we already talked about on the show, only 15 minutes. So put it into your life. I love short and sweet, and I love short, sweet, and impactful even more. So hell yeah. Really enjoyable.
Yeah, if they get Montana and they see in the window, are you gonna put this on vinyl? Nod. You don't know? He doesn't know. Anyways, I'm looking at trying to land a turntable soon, so I need some vinyl. But I also
I got it for my birthday, Gabe. I showed you on Tuesday, but I'm gonna show the people. You know what it is? You know what it is? I'm a real DJ now, guys.
Chicka.
Yeah, I might scratch your record. I mean, I can't put any records on this, but I'll scratch them anyway. You need a record scratch? I will scratch it, baby.
I want to feel the record. You know, I've been living in the digital age. I want to go to the Matrix. You know, where it's all digital. But anyways, all right, that's gonna be our show tonight. Thank you again to Jyroscope and Montana Macks. They're fantastic. Please go check out Happy Medium. That's gonna be our time tonight. What do we have lined up for Tuesday? I know we have
I believe we have some videographers next week.
Vanilla. Is that what I got?
Vanilla. I don't know what you're talking about. We got Jack James and the videographers that actually I think that's the 5th. I actually think that's Thursday. But we potentially may have Burbs ENT on the Tuesday, August 3rd. We are waiting for work schedule confirmation there, but hopefully we will have that, and that will be a lot to chew on that episode. Burbs ENT, if you're not familiar, holding down the Chicago suburbs, maybe the biggest blog out right now, and doing a lot of stuff from playlists to music reviews. It's like Chicago's own Anthony Fantana meets Ill Roots. It's really inspiring to see what they're doing, and real grassroots too. They got a lot of people working there, not a lot of people getting paid, but a lot of people creating content, and it's amazing.
Oh, I forgot that Chicago's own Vakil is going to be joining us. He just released his first album in almost a decade. So he's back, and it's phenomenal. So we're going to be talking with him on next Tuesday, actually, on the 3rd. So I'm really looking forward to that. So please tune in and tell a friend. So we got a lot coming up. Again, give us a follow on these social medias. Weekend Gabe, Weekend at Gabe's, Weekend The Real Sam Crane. And also subscribe to us on YouTube. Sam works hard to cut these things up for you. The least you could do to pay him back is hit that subscribe button.
Just subscribe. I don't know what you're doing out there right now. You're probably sitting back. You're probably drinking a little bit. Just go ahead, YouTube, Weekend at Gabe's. You don't even have to type in the whole thing. You just type in W @G, and it will come up. Just subscribe. Just subscribe.
Trust me, it's the best thing that's going to happen to you since
sliced bread, curing polio.
You getting out of that broken relationship. That's how good it's going to feel.
Yes. That latest.
All right. Good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you're going to Lala, please, for the love of God, wear a mask and just pray.
And don't touch me for the next 2 weeks. If you went to Lala, I don't want to touch you for the next 2 weeks. Oh my God!
Please isolate wherever. Especially if you're traveling across state lines. I know no one's watching right now from anyone outside the state, but please, if you're outside the state, isolate yourself. Don't be that person. I'm so anxious to see what's going to happen next week when all of our cases are just ballooning. It's going to be mad. It's going to be.
Hey, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. They tell me to go get another shot. I'm going to go get another shot and take a nice chill day off work.
Listen, I want the double jab. Like, give me 2 boosters, please. I will. Whatever you need, I got. Like, I got 2 arms, 2 boosters.
If anybody needs to experiment, it's cool, bro. I don't really appreciate life that much. Just go ahead. I'll take the blood clots. I don't care.
I think you might be able to survive blood clots.
I lived all the cool years of life. You know, I did 18 to 24 pre-pandemic, and I'm actually really good with that. You know, if there's no more from here on out, did the golden birthday, you know, I'm fine. Don't worry. Experiments on me. I don't care.
Listen, I'm all for booster shots. Whatever it is going to keep me from not dying, I want that and anything additional. I'm good. All right, everyone, be safe out there. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Wait, you got to sign off, Gabe.
I will. Give 1 second, sir. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for checking out Weekend at Gabe's, where we share, support, and show love. And that's what we do on this show every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 o'clock on Twitch TV. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
Peace.
Hey, I'm Weekend Gabe. Thanks for checking out this latest episode of Weekend at Gabe's. Click on any of the links swirling around my head and also hit the subscribe button while you're here. Thanks for checking out us here on YouTube.